Hello, my name is Ailsa and today I am going to talk about my April reading goals. I am heading on holiday this afternoon actually, so my first April reading goals are the 3 books that I'm taking with me. I'm still a little bit undecided because, as you'll see, this is a very fantasy heavy selection, and normally when I go away with my family I'll take a mixture. I'll maybe have one big fantasy book and then a couple of lighter things, shorter things. So we'll see. Anyway, my first choice, which I'll then be starting this evening when I'm travelling to the airport, is Snakewood by Adrian Selby. This one was in one of my book hauls earlier this year. I heard Adrian read from the book at some point last year at Super Relaxed Fantasy Club in London. And this is a fantasy novel, and unless I'm mixing it up with something else, then potions come into the book a lot. Anyway, it is about a group of mercenaries and something has gone badly wrong for them. The main character is dying. It's a bit grim from the start is the impression I get of it. So I'm really intrigued to get into this. I enjoyed the excerpt that Adrian read and I've been planning to read it since. So when one of my friends was giving away his copy, I was happy to take that on and have the opportunity to read it myself. So that is my first book I'm planning to get to this week. Then I'm going to go on to How to Stop Time by Haig. I'm sure many of you will have read this or at least be familiar with it. If not, this is about a man who ages very, very slowly. So although he looks like he's about 41, which is the age he's pretending to be, he's already been alive for centuries. It says, da-da-da-da, as long as he keeps changing his identity, he can stay one step ahead of his past and stay alive. The only thing he must not do is fall in love. So I'm quite intrigued by this. My boyfriend read it and really enjoyed it. It's the shortest of the 3 books that I'm taking away with me on holiday, so that should be a bit of a lighter read. And the type isn't too dense inside, so I'm hoping I'll get through that one fairly quick. I'm planning to finish at least Snakewood and How to Stop Time while I'm away. My 3rd book on holiday is always kind of a backup, but equally I don't want to be left short of reading material. So anyway, my 3rd choice is Battlemage by Aryan. I'd seen this around on the shelves a lot and thought it sounded interesting, and my dad has read this whole trilogy, so I picked up his copy when I was home over Christmas. He enjoyed it, and I have heard good things about Aryan. I believe he's now got a 2nd trilogy started, so that bodes well, really, I think. This is another epic fantasy book. I'm reading a lot of those just now, which is great. They used to be one of the main things I read. I love epic fantasy. Always happy to get back into that. It sounds fairly typical, to be honest. It says Balfrus is a battle mage sworn to fight and die for a country that fears his kind. Then you've also got an ordinary soldier and a princess and spy master. So that sounds like a fun book. Once I'm back from holiday, I'm going to be carrying on with this book that I'm currently reading, which is The City Stained Red by Sykes. I'm about halfway through now. That's over 300 pages in, so it's a big long book, but I'm really enjoying it. As I mentioned in a recent video, this one is another epic fantasy about a group of friends who've come to a city. I'm really enjoying it, and I'll have more about it in my April wrap-up. Possibly a March wrap-up too, if I get around to doing one of those. If I get a chance later in the month, then I also want to read The Goose Road by Rowena. This book I picked up in my goodie bag at the recent Walker Books preview event that they had for bloggers, where they looked ahead at the books they've got coming up in the first half of the year. This one is published on the 5th of April, so it's available very soon, and is about a girl in France in World War I. So it sounds a bit different from the other young adult books I've read recently. I always love stories set in World War I and II, and I think that it'll be quite interesting to read one that's set in France about a French person rather than about British people or American people and their experiences in it. I think that'll just add a little flavour of something different to it as well. That is quite a few books, but if I do get time, then I'd like to crack on with From Distant Stars by Sam Peters. This book just arrived for me in the post the other day. It is the sequel to From Darkest Skies by Sam Peters, which I read last year for review. It's on my shelf behind me. It's up there behind me and I can't reach it. But anyway, so this is book 2 from Sam Peters. I believe From Darkest Skies was his debut. It was one of my favourite books last year that I read. I think I gave it 9 stars when I reviewed it on my blog. So I'm really keen to get into this. It's like a typical police show, except set in space, and with robots. So it was a really enjoyable read. I love CSI type programs, and there was a lot of that kind of thing. There was a lot about the interactions between the team that made up this investigating team. I just really enjoyed it, so I'm really looking forward to reading this, and hopefully I will get to it this month. Those are all the books that I am planning to read in the month of April. If you have read any of them before, let me know what you thought of them. If you've got them in your TBR pile, let me know what your thoughts at the moment are. And anything else book related, I would love to hear from you. Just leave a comment, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye!